misunderstood? What is that organization?
I think that the Muslim Brotherhood is misunderstood. And I think the first thing that needs to be said is that with the exception of the army, separate from Mubarak, with the exception of the army, the Muslim Brotherhood is quite possibly the most respected political entity in Egypt today. And the reason why they're respected is because they renounced violence and terrorism decades ago. And that gives them a tremendous amount of legitimacy, combined with the fact that the Muslim Brotherhood also engages in significant efforts toward social outreach, education, human service provision, in ways that the Mubarak regime is either apathetic or incompetent to provide for the people. So the Muslim Brotherhood really needs to be divorced from organizations like Al-Qaeda. In fact, Al-Qaeda detests the Muslim Brotherhood because they see the Muslim Brotherhood as lacking in what they would regard as conviction, but which in reality, the reason why the Muslim Brotherhood is so powerful is not because they're radical, it's because they're looking for a way to effectively blend Islam with some sort of functioning civil society and democracy.
But there is the feeling that they are Islamic fundamentalists, and that politically they might be dangerous, despite the fact that they do good things. From a political and diplomatic standpoint, a lot of people are afraid they could be bad news.
There's always been that fear. And you can look at what they say, or you could look at their actions, but neither one of which really have convinced me that they are somebody who needs to be demonized to nearly the extent that other truly dangerous jihadist organizations in the Muslim world have been rightfully demonized, specifically Al-Qaeda.
Are they going to have a major voice, do you suppose, in what happens over the months ahead going into the election?
It's hard to say. I mean, they didn't have very much of a voice in the last few weeks. Surprisingly, they played a role that was fairly behind the scenes. And maybe that was strategy, because they didn't want to give Mubarak the opportunity to turn this into a, hey, look, it's either me or chaos, this false choice that we were talking about earlier. But this really was a youth movement. This was a spontaneous movement of young, educated people who they want democracy, they want jobs, they want a better life. And so if the Muslim Brotherhood is interested in being a good faith partner in that, then by all means, I'm sure that there would be a lot of collaboration. But as far as turning Egypt into some sort of seat of a new 21st century caliphate, or, you know, bringing this heavy-handed Islamism of the kind that we saw in Iran under Khomeini into, you know, Cairo of all places, which is a pretty modern, pretty global city, it's not likely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd really like to follow up on what Dennis said here. First of all, I do agree. I think